Deva Manusanam Vichu Bhagavati Itiso Bhagava Arham Samma Sambuddho Vidya Charana Sampanno Sukhayo Murikaram Sarati Sattva Deva Manusanam Buddho Bhagavati Itipiso Bhagava Arham Samma Sambuddho Vidya Charana Sampanno Sukhato Lokavidu Anuttaro Murikaram Sarati Sattva Deva Manusanam Buddho Bhagavati. Most Venerable Dedunupiti Upanandanayaka Thera and Sukitamano Thera and Mrs. Amerasinghe, Sudharma Amerasinghe and family, dear friends. As you all are aware, today, this evening, special service, Puja and the sermon is going to be held at the London Buddhist Vihara to remember Dr. Cyrille Amerasinghe, who passed away 6 days ago. As loving family members and friends, you are all here to show your gratitude for him. So he was a very good supporter of the London Buddhist Vihara. We can remember I can remember over 35 years because he was a good friend for the monks and also the Vihara. And especially Amerasinghe family is very much connected with the London Buddhist Vihara. And also he was a very loving husband, and also he was a loving father, and also the supportive father-in-law, and also cheerful grandfather. So all are here today to show you a respect. Because although they lived in London, but after moving far away, we couldn't have much connection. But few days ago, even 1 week ago, we had a chance to see him via Zoom, because we thought he is getting better, because that day he was better, because he was good. He had a good health at that time, although he faced facing some pain, but he was okay. We thought he is going to be okay very soon. But afterwards we heard that it's getting worse, and also we had a chance to chant some Buddhist sutras for him to have peace in his mind. I think he is in a good place. So our coordinators of the London Buddhist Vihara and also the trustees and other members who are connected with the London Buddhist Vihara, they are all here today to show their gratitude and show their respect for Dr. Cyrille Amerasinghe, and also of course the Amerasinghe family. Because Sudharma was involved with the Vihara in many activities. Always she is taking part in everything at the London Buddhist Vihara. Even the fundraising events and also the ceremonies and whatever it is, because whenever we call her, she is always helping us to make it success. So she was doing a very wonderful service. And also the doctor is helping in different ways. He allowed her to come to the Vihara and to continue that service. We can remember he was looking after the Bodhi tree. Now we don't have Bodhi tree here, but he's the one who looked after Bodhi tree over there for many years. So he has done a lot of service here. And also, unfortunately, most venerable Cyrille Nayak Thero is not around here today to show here his gratitude. But the London Buddhist Vihara, monks at the London Buddhist Vihara is remembering his good qualities. And also we want to show our gratitude for him, for his service. So that is why the service is going to be held in the London Buddhist Vihara. So now you all are having that compassionate and loving feelings for him, because you want to show your gratitude for him. So that is why you are taking part in this religious service today. So now, according to our tradition, what we do, we offer these offerings to the Buddha, and also afterwards we all say those stanzas together. Then afterwards you will be listening to a sermon. We invited most venerable Dedunupiti Upananda Nayak Thero to deliver the Matakbana, because it is a good thing, because we share all things among the monks at the Vihara. So he will be doing the sermon. Now, according to our program, let us observe 5 precepts. Please say sadhu, 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 and say namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa 3 times to observe 5 precepts, please. Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Pāṇātipātā vīramani sikkhapaдаṃ samādhiyāmi. Adinādānā vīramani sikkhapadaṃ samādhiyāmi. කාමේසු මිච්ඡාචාරා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි. මුසාවාදා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි. සුරාමේරය මජ්ජපමා දට්ඨානා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි. Dr. Cyrille Amerasinghe lived a happy, peaceful and successful life here. He was a good husband. As I said earlier, he had 2 children, Nishani and Subhani. We can remember those children they are bringing to the London Buddhist Vihara Dhamma School. They have given the mother and father, they gave them Buddhist insight for them. And also he has done his duty as a doctor, whatever the things he has done, he has done his duty. He has done his duty to the family, and he has done his duty to the Vihara and also religion, we can say, and also he was a generous, kind and sincere friend. So when we look at someone's life, those things are very important, because there are many things we can say about him, but it is not the time. You all know what type of person he was. He was very innocent, and also he was loved by many people. So today we remember his good qualities. Now let us have loving feelings for him, and also think that whatever the religious service we are going to do it here today, the offering flowers and other offerings to the Buddha, and also listen to the sermon, and also contemplating on the death. Death is waiting for all of us. One day we have to leave this world, but the only thing is good deed, whatever we have done will remain in this existence. And also that is the one which will help us to have happy, peaceful and safe journey in samsara. So let us offer these offerings to the Buddha, reciting Pali stanzas, thinking that may these offerings go to the Buddha. Offering these flowers, incense and other things to the Buddha, we acquire the good thought. May the merits be with Dr. Cyrille Amerasinghe, who passed away 6 days ago. May he enjoy these merits. May he be well, happy and peaceful wherever he is now. May he attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. With these thoughts, let us recite these stanzas to offer these offerings to the Buddha. Vanna gandha gunopitang etang kusuma santating pujayami munindassa siripada saroruve pujimi buddhang kusumena nena punyena metena ca hotu mokkhaṃ pubbhaṃ milayāti yatha idaṃ me kāyo tathā yāti vināsa bhāvaṃ ghanasārappaditena dīpena tamadaṃ sinā tiloka dīpaṃ sambuddhaṃ pujayami tamonudaṃ gandha sambhārayuttena dupenahaṃ sugandhinā pujaye pujanīyantaṃ pujā bhājanamuttamaṃ sugandhaṃ sītalaṃ kappaṃ pasanna madhuraṃ subhaṃ pānīyametaṃ bhagavā patiganhātu uttama Adhivasetuno bhanti Gilana paccayang imang Anukampang upadaya Patiganhatu uttama Vandami cetiyang sabbang Sabbethani supatitthitang Savirika dhatu mahabodhing Buddha rupang sakalang sada Kayena vaca cittena Pamadena maya katang Acchayang kamami bhanti Bhuri panya tathagata Imina punya kammina Mami bala samagamo Satang samagamo hotu Yava nibbana pattiya sadhu sadhu. Now I would like to invite Most Venerable Dedunukti Upananda Nayaka Thero to deliver the 76th day sermon. We call the Matakabana.
Most Venerable Tavalama Bandula Mahathera, Deputy Abbot of London Buddhist Vihara, Venerable Sukitamanu, Mrs. Amerasinghe and family. So this is, I would deliver my brief memorial sermon in 2 steps. The first steps would be an appreciation of the Amerasinghe family. At the second step, I would share some insights into consciousness and afterlife. So this is called, as the Most Venerable Mahathera mentioned, in Sinhala this is called Matakabana. Mataka means memorial, a sermon that is given in memory of someone who is gone. Now, first part is an appreciation. There was an ideal well-known spiritual couple during the Buddha's time. They were known as Nakula Mata and Nakula Pita. Their surname was Nakula. If in English, they were well known as the Nakulas. Now, Nakula Mata means mother, Pita means father. To Buddha, Nakula was just like a father, and his wife was just like a mother to him. So Buddha affectionately called them Nakula the mother, Nakula the father. Or Buddha always used the Nakulas whenever in teaching his audience the importance of spirituality, importance of a couple living together at peace. And Buddha never noticed even a single difference of opinion between the two. They were equally, so they were so spiritual that they were identified in terms of 4 areas of life. Now, in Buddhist spirituality, we very often hear that a couple has to be in tune with each other in 4 life areas. So the first one is samasila. A couple has to be in tune with each other in morality. And the second one is samasaddha. A couple has to be in tune with each other in spiritual devotion. And the third one is samachaga. A couple has to be in tune with each other in charity. And the fourth one is samapanya. A couple has to be in tune with each other in wisdom. So those are the four areas of life that a couple is supposed to think and work together. So because when a couple works on these four areas together, when they have, in other words, when a couple has equal morality, they are equally ethical, equally moral, they are equally devotional, they are equally concerned with charity or helping others, and they are equally wise. So the late Dr. Cyrille Amerasinghe and Mrs. Sudharma Amerasinghe have been an ideal spiritual couple, and they have been a long-standing congregants of the London Buddhist Vihara. As the most venerable Bandula Mahathera just mentioned, and we all witnessed, Sudharma is among the leading upasikas of the London Buddhist Vihara. Upasika is a name that is very difficult to earn. Upasaka and upasika. That's another pair of words that Buddha had used to identify a spiritual couple. Upa means close to. Asaka is one who sits. Upasaka means one who sits close to the triple gem, close to the Buddha, close to the Dhamma, and close to the Sangha. Upasika is the female, one who sits close to the Buddha. Sitting close to implies closely associating with, closely maintaining a close spiritual company with the Buddha. Now, as you know, Buddha is the awakened one. Dhamma is his teaching. Buddha literally means one who has woken up. When you look at the statue, any Buddha statue would show it's with eyes cast down or completely closed. Now, even though Buddha has his naked eyes cast down or closed, he is awake within, so that he lives in samadhi or serenity. Now, so in the Buddha's mudras or gestures always tell the world that people have to learn how to live in serenity amid different chaos in their life. The life is chaotic anyway. The world is chaotic anyway. So, and then, so Dr. and Mrs. Amerasinghe, you lived a very peaceful life. Now, these are once again, those are the four principles again. Now, the next pair of words is, so the Dhamma, Buddha means the awakened, Dhamma means the path, the way that prevents you from falling into adversity. In standard Pali terms, it's called apaye, niraye, patamane, apatamane, katva dhare, titi dhammo. Dhamma means what prevents you from falling into adversities. In standard words, falling into hell, going through sufferings. You can avoid agony, you can avoid pains when you see your boundaries, when you see your legal and ethical boundaries in your day-to-day life. You will never get into trouble with the law. You will never be called a liar or someone who would be morally condemned. Sangha is the community of spiritual, community of saintly or enlightened monks, as well as the monks and nuns, monastics who are walking the path to enlightenment. In place of the Buddha, Sangha guides the world while guiding themselves towards enlightenment. Now, upasakas and upasikas are those who closely associate with the triple gem. If I use another Western term, Trinity, the Trinity of awakening. Just like people believe in Christianity, you talk about the Trinity. In Buddhism also we believe in the Trinity, the Buddha. The Trinity is necessarily of awakening. Buddha, the awakened one, Dhamma, the path to awakening, Sangha, those who are already awakened or those who are walking the path to awakening. And upasakas and upasikas are the lay people who closely follow the triple gem. So again, upasaka is one who sits closely to the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha. Upasika, the female one. So we at London Buddhist Vihara have recognized the late Dr. Cyrille Amerasinghe and Mrs. Amerasinghe as Upasaka and Upasika respectively, with a lot of holidays. Now, that being said, let me move to the second part of this memorial sermon. So that according to the Buddha's teachings, conventionally we acquire education, we acquire wealth, we acquire knowledge, we make friends, we build a company, we earn properties. So those material things make us happy. However, according to in a highly spiritual Buddhist sense, finally, having done anything, we would have gathered only 3 things and put them in our backpack. We all backpack samsara. Samsara is the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, and it continues until we deliberately break the cycle of samsara and attain nirvana or salvation. And up until then we continue, and we gather only 3 things. First thing is kamma or karma, that's the karmic energy, whether good or bad. And second thing that we earn in our day-to-day life is memories. We create a lot of memories, whether fond or painful, whether joyful or painful. And third one is we create habits, whether good or bad. Finally, we would have collected only 3 things in our life: memory, karma, memories, and habits. And Buddha highly recommends that we only make good karma to carry forward, that we only create good memories, fond memories, beautiful, joyful memories, and that we only develop only good habits. So, and when it comes to our behavior, nobody is perfect. Up until we are enlightened, we all have shortcomings. However, in Buddhist spirituality, whenever we happen to commit some bad karma, we are not supposed to revisit the bad karmas that we make. Why? Every time you rekindle the memories of bad karma, you bring them to activation onto the conscious level of your mind. If you have done something good, you are supposed to meditate on the good karma as frequently as possible, so that you can rekindle the power of memories of good karma, so that it can give you more results, good results. When it comes to habits also, when you have a bad habit, you have to do everything possible to break it. In case you have adopted a good habit, then you have to do everything possible to enhance it, to further develop it. Why? Because finally, when we leave this world, those are the only things that we would carry in within ourselves. That is called consciousness. Consciousness contains three aspects: the outermost or the sensory layer of consciousness, and the second layer is called the middle or the threshold layer of consciousness, and the third one is the innermost or the subliminal layer of consciousness. So, what we do in our day-to-day life is we use our sensory consciousness or the sense-based consciousness together to perceive the world, to gather data, to observe and perceive. And as a result of perceiving the world, getting in touch with the world, by touching the world, we create sankharas, so dynamics of experience. We gather experience. Sankharas are the dynamics of experience. And once we create those dynamics of experience, then what happens is we make some assumptions or conclusion by using the second middle layer of our consciousness, threshold layer of our consciousness. Then what happens is, then we send the data deep into the deepest layer of our consciousness. That is called the subliminal layer of our consciousness. Subliminal layer of consciousness is similar to soul in Judeo-Christian religions. In Judeo-Christians, in Abrahamic religions, you believe, and also certain theistic religions, you believe that when upon death, the soul would leave the physical body. In Buddhist spirituality, we believe that it is the subliminal consciousness, or That is the innermost layer of our consciousness that gathers, that collects, that harbors all our habits, all our karmas, all our memories. When we leave this physical body, we carry them with us. Now, close to our death, anyone dying would go through a necessary and essential step. The step is called the last thought moment, or chuti chitta. The last thought moment is the very last final thought that anyone must go through, definitely go through before breathing the last breath. Now, by the time somebody breathes their last breath, they become perfectly, absolutely conscious within. It is not from our conscious mind that we die from. First we die, before we breathe our last breath, we completely or partially die from our sensory, the outermost layer of our consciousness. Now, never to judge that somebody who has remained brain dead, someone who had been declared clinically dead, one who is demented, one who had some other medical complications, one who had lost the cognitive ability, and so on and so forth. That all depends on our outermost layer of our consciousness. It has nothing to do with our consciousness during our death. So that when a healthy person is dying, or when somebody who with dementia or Alzheimer's is dying, when somebody who has memory loss is dying, somebody who has been in a coma dying, we all go through the same process. And then first we die from our outer consciousness, and then we become conscious within our subliminal mind, subliminal consciousness of bhavanga vijnana. And so first we shut down, we get the outermost layer of our consciousness shut down, then we get the second or the middle layer of our consciousness shut down, and then we go to the third layer, the deeper and innermost layer of our consciousness. In other words, first we die from our persona, first we die from our selfhood, first we die from our personality, then only the pure subliminal consciousness is remaining. When the consciousness has totally reduced to the third layer, and now it is ready to go. And from within the subliminal consciousness, the bhavanga, there can be a certain karmic seed, a karma popping up to the surface level of the subliminal consciousness. And that particular karma would trigger somebody's next birth. So most of the time, even if we remain due to medical conditions, even if we remain even if we have lost our cognitive ability in our day-to-day life, by the time we face our death, we become conscious within. So that being said, definitely it is a spiritual person would get his or her spiritual karma, good karma rekindled, memories rekindled within the subliminal consciousness, so that he or she can move to a better place. That is a difficult part of the Dhamma in the simplest language ever possible. There could be more simple words, but those are the simplest words that I know that I should use to explain that. So Dr. Cyrille Amerasinghe, he had acquired a lot of spiritual merits together with that. We have eyewitness too. So that, as I said, as we all know, they are so the Amerasinghe family has been among the longest standing members of the Congregation of London Buddhist Vihara. Dr. Amerasinghe contributed immensely towards the well-being of monks and the temple. So did Mrs. Amerasinghe, and Mrs. Amerasinghe, a very active person. We always see you leading the group, always. Personally speaking, when I came to London the last time, I asked where Sudharma was. Then most venerable Bandhurana Amdru said, "Oh no, they moved to a different place, but they still continue to contribute to the temple." Now today, And then, as Most Venerable Nayak Bandula Mahathir mentioned, we saw him on screen when we attended a birthday dana at Aunt Ruki's place. And Mrs. Sudharma was there, and Doctor was there, and Doctor was listening attentively, and we saw him. That was the last time. And after that, when Bandula Mahathir happened to do Parita chanting, protective chanting for him, and the Doctor was lucky to listen to that. So that even if, according to psychotherapy, research in psychotherapy, which I have attended on numerous occasions in different countries, even a clinically dead person can feel our vibes. Let's say somebody has been in a coma for a long time, and then when you constantly sit beside that person and continue to radiate our vibes, and their inner mind, their subconscious mind can pick those vibes. They can have, because sometimes I personally did some research way back in 1980s in Sri Lanka. That was my first research in that area. There was one lady, she had been in a coma for 3 months. So that she was tube fed by a tube. And so that 3 months we would go to her house and do chanting, and we do metta. 3 months later she woke up from her coma. And then she explained, we were bewildered by her accounts of, and she said that I felt the monks were here, and then they blessed me, and then I felt it. And then we had a lot of dialogues with the medical doctors, and the doctors were puzzled by that. And that is when we just, by quoting the Buddha as saying that our consciousness is awake within, even if our normal sensory consciousness is not functional. Our inner consciousness is always active. So that is why she could feel that. So for sure, toward the last few days of Dr. Amerasinghe's life, so that a lot of people showered blessings upon him, and a lot of people sent thoughts of radiated goodwill towards him. For sure, he died a peaceful death, and not a single moment did he commit any wrong. It was always, he had a mild smile across his face all the time. Some people don't know how to smile, and some people giggle, whereas in his case, even his smile was in kind of middle path. So that was how gentle he was. So that, as I said, Dr. and Mrs. Sudharma, you lived a life, a beautiful life. As I said, you had samasatta, you were equally devotional, samachaga, equally generous, sama sila, equally moral, and samapanya, equally wise. So, and now it is time for the last but not the least. I would like to say, it is quite natural that when someone has left, we feel sorry and we feel sad. We can deal with that. And Buddha has given a piece of advice, standing on the side of the departed ones. Even if the departed ones are qualified to move to a better place in samsara, they would at times would be reluctant to do that, because the living relatives are sad about. Your sadness would remain like a string that would pull them back. I know it takes over time, but today is the day that you have to start the healing process. So that some criminals die, people die very young, bad people die. When such people die, of course the people must lament their death. But according to Buddhism, this is a time not to lament his death, but to celebrate his life. Because he was lucky. He left in a dignified manner. He lived his life in a dignified manner. He had dignified company. Dignity is something that Buddha has recommended. That being said, so I would, that's all about the sermon today. Thank you for inviting me. Now I will hand over the microphone to the Most Venerable Bandula Mahathir to conduct the rest of the service. Thank you.
Now, most Venerable Prananda Nayak Theru explained about life, consciousness, and how it moves. But also there are some other things we should remember, all of us. It is not only Dr. Cyrille Amerasinghe, we all have to face this situation one day. It is not one person's things, because it is the way of all of us. After 100 years from now, not one of us will be left here, because others will take our places, whatever those places are. So we have to remember, that's why Buddha advised us to recollect the impermanence and also think about the death. Because in Buddhism we thought that there is a meditation practice called the Marananusmati, remembering about the death, recollect the death. It is not only for us, because for everybody of us. It is inevitable, it has to be like that. So we would like to advise our Dayakas. It is a sad thing, but we have to take our mind strong. Because getting old, getting sickness, and also the death, you have seen all those things in your life. Because when we have seen doctor is getting ill, and also the getting old, and this is death. This is the way our life is. That is the reality of our life. So we have to think this is the way our life is. So there is no way out of this. We have to face one day. Because it is not today, maybe some other time it has to be faced. So life is unpredictable, uncertain in this world. So we have to recollect the three aspects of what the Buddha said. Impermanence, that is the everything change. And also change always gives us suffering. So if something is giving us suffering, then how we can call it is mine or mine? So it goes as, because Dr. Amerasinghe is his own life. He goes in his own way, but we can't change it. We all have to face the same situation. And also the Buddha said, whatever we like in this world, all those things change. Whenever change comes, we have the suffering, we have the unsatisfactoriness in our mind. So we have to have an understanding. Buddha said that sabbehi mepihi manapehi nana bhavo vina bhavo ti abhinyam paccavekkitabhang. It says that if we like something, but it has the potentiality of changing, that change, we have to accept it. We have to have the understanding that these things are changing. So Dr. Amerasinghe has changed, but it is not only for him. So we will also change one day. So we have to face the situation. This is the reality of our life. So that's Buddhist teaching has taught us to understand the real nature of our life. Because Buddha didn't want to hide. Buddha didn't talk about the going to heaven and hell and those things. Mostly, Buddha wants to show us this is suffering. Life is suffering, but we can overcome it when we have the understanding of it. So, Mrs. Amerasinghe and family, they are so much connected with the Dhamma. You listen to the Dhamma, and then you can realize whatever the things you learn, then you have to practice it. That is what we have to do. So that is what you are doing it here. You are showing your gratitude today, doing this service, and also participating in this and listening to the sermon and doing all the religious works. Because as most Venerable Ayatollah explained, this is the whatever things we create from here, it will communicate. Those can be given to that vibe. Spiritual vibration can be given to somebody else to make his life happy. So while doing that, you can be happy thinking that you have done your duty for the departed ones. We cannot give anything else. Only thing we can give is our pure thoughts and goodwill for him to make his life happy. So if you think that you want to make his life happy, give your loving feelings and try to reduce your sadness from you, then it will be benefited. Now, observing 5 precepts and also doing these offerings to the Buddha and also the contemplating of and the death, and so, because we are all here contemplating on death, because we know that Dr. Cyrille passed away. So we have that understanding of death, and also the listen to the sermon, and also the contemplating on that is also meditation. So we have done dana, sila, bhavana. Those are the three things we do as Buddhists: practicing generosity, practicing morality, and practicing concentration. All those three things are practiced within this service today. So let us pray for him, Dr. Cyrille Amerasinghe. Let us give our blessings for him to have safe journey in samsara. Let us wish him to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. May the merits accrued by this service be with him. May he enjoy these merits. May he be well, happy and peaceful. May you all share these merits. May you also be well and happy. Now let us transfer pure thoughts and goodwill for Dr. Cyrille Amerasinghe in the form of pouring water. Your heart full of love and affection, and whatever the good thought you created in your heart, that is compared to the jar full of water. Empty cup is compared to the departed one. You pour out of your heart to Dr. Cyrille Amerasinghe for his ongoing journey in samsara. He may be enjoying his life wherever he is going to be, but it is our duty as a loving wife and also as loving children and family members, it is your duty to remember him with love and affection. So you are fulfilling that duty too. Okay, let us pour water. Now you all can say the stanzas to transfer good thought to Dr. Cyrille Amerasinghe. Say nidan me ñātinam hotu sukita hontu ñātu, please. Yathavārivaha pūrā paripūrenti sāgarang evameva ito dinnang pētānang upakappati unname udakang vattang yatha ninnang pavattati evameva ito dinnang pētānang upakappati citang pattitan tuyang kippameva samijjatu sabbe pūrentu citta sankappa Chando Pannarasi Yata Mani Jyoti Raso Yata. May you all share these merits. May you all be well, happy and peaceful. Abhivadana Silisa Nichang Vardha Vachayino Chattaro Dhamma Vaddanti Ayuvanno Sukhang Balang Ayurarogya Sampatti Sagga Sampatti Mevacha Ato Nibbana Sampatti Iminati Samicchatu. Okay, service is over.